Have you ever found yourself in front of the TV on a weekend, struggling to pick which of the thousands of movies and series on Netflix you would watch? You then decide to browse over reviews and comments, but eventually you end up not watching anything, since you find it difficult to choose from the many selections. This is just one of the many situations in our daily lives where we are asked to make a decision. From simple ones like choosing what shirt to buy, up to the life-changing decisions, we're required to make choices on a daily basis. The same is true for psychologist Barry Schwartz. In his book, The Paradox of Choice, he gives relevant and timely illustrations about the tyranny of having too many choices. Each one of us may have felt paralyzed and overwhelmed by the difficulty in making a choice out of many options, but there are ways on how we could overcome this. Here are the 7 most relevant lessons from the book, The Paradox of Choice. Lesson 1. Break free from the paralysis of choice. Out of the many choices that our modern society presents to us, we mostly become paralyzed in choosing the best. Schwartz asserts that the more choices we have, the more difficult our situation would be. For instance, choosing a menu, whether it be in a fast food chain or in a fine restaurant, could be difficult for us, since there are plenty of foods to choose from. We tend to ask for their best seller to help us choose what to order. Although doing so may have helped us overcome the paralysis, we could still end up feeling dissatisfied with the choice that we made. Thus, the only way to be sure that we break free from the paralysis of choice, and at the same time feel satisfied by the choice that we made, is by making the best possible decision. Lesson 2. Lower your expectations. Schwartz considers that expensive and complicated choices can hurt and worsen the situation. Most of the time, we tend to set high expectations from the choices that we've made. These high expectations may lead us to disappointments and even depression to some others. To avoid these negative effects, we must learn to be selective in exercising our choice. It would be better to avoid too complicated choices and to not set high expectations to avoid situations that could hinder us from enjoying the consequences of our choice. Lesson 3. Live to be a satisficer than a maximizer. Schwartz introduces 2 kinds of people in making choices: the maximizers and the satisficers. Maximizers are the people who spend more time in exhausting themselves to search opinions, read reviews, and seek for possible information before making a choice. Satisficers, on the other hand, are those who settle for something good enough for them, yet end up feeling happier with their choice. Although a maximizing attitude is vital in making choices, satisficers initially set a criteria and standard in choosing things, and once a choice reaches the set criteria, they make the decision right away. They spend less time choosing, and thus could make use of their free time to enjoy other things. Lesson 4. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparing oneself to others may magnify our insecurities, and we may end up hating ourselves. Several social media posts may display other people's abundance and success in life, and this may lead us to become dissatisfied and disappointed. Schwartz emphasizes that we need to stop paying attention to how others are doing to avoid self-hatred and disappointments. Paying attention to what others are doing will just set a standard or path that we feel obliged to follow. This could then affect how we make choices that will just add hassles and complexity in our lives and could hinder us from experiencing true happiness. Lesson 5. Make irreversible decisions. There are some times when we have to make reversible and irreversible decisions. For instance, some shopping malls allow us to return things if we mistakenly buy stuff that we don't really need. However, making major decisions in life, such as marriage or career, do not have such perks and are not reversible. Changing these decisions involves substantial cost in terms of money, time, and emotion. If we know that the decision is irreversible, we tend to be firmer with it. However, reversible decisions would just provide an opportunity for the individual to ponder on whether they made the right choice, which just adds on to the stress and anxiety. Lesson 6. Imagine the consequences. One thing that makes it difficult for us to make a decision is because we're scared of making the wrong choice and end up suffering from the consequences of poor decision-making. In order to remedy this, we could actually imagine the possible consequences of each option available to us. By doing so, we would lessen the possibility of regret and will be more confident with our decisions, since we already have an idea on how it will turn out. Lesson 7. Focus on the choices that matter the most to you. We may find ourselves faced with a lot of choices, but if we know what we truly want and prioritize, then making the right choice would be easier. Schwartz suggests that we need to set our eyes on the decision that benefits us the most, and to focus on what we really need. Doing so could help us see the situation in a clearer perspective, which could then allow us to trim down our options and easily identify the right choice. In conclusion, the paradox of choice reveals the reality of how difficult making a choice could be. We tend to associate making choices with regrets in the end. Thus, the key here is that less is more, meaning have few choices to choose from is actually better. We may have our own strategies in making a decision, but what is important is that whatever choice we make, it should be the one that would make us happy and satisfied in the end. Did this inspire you to make better choices in the future? If so, you may drop a comment below and like this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more significant takeaways from various books. You can also get a free copy of the entire audiobook by clicking the link in the description. Until next time.